4. The great faces who inspired us. There were many great men in the past who worked for the good of others. They did not think of themselves, but always thought of the welfare of others. There were great people in all fields. Some of them were scientists who toiled to make the life of the people happy and comfortable. Some were engineers who built great buildings and dams for the sake of the society. Still, others were doctors who sacrificed their comforts to make the lives of others healthier and happier. There were scientists who changed life and physical conditions in the world. There were great thinkers also who, by their great ideas and thinking, changed the thinking of men. They lived for the values like truth, love, cooperation, service, and tolerance. Such people, though died, have not really died because they are always remembered. Their good words and deeds are not forgotten, so they never die. Socrates, Emperor Ashoka, Abraham Lincoln, Karl Marx, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Dr. Ambedkar are some among them. Socrates. This great thinker was born in 4th century BC. He was a great scholar and a preacher. He lived in Athens, the capital of Greece. People of those days believed in superstitions and blind beliefs, and thought that thunder was the result of the displeasure of gods. Socrates was the one who believed in thinking and reasoning. He did not believe in such religious superstitions and said that it was a natural phenomenon. He worked in such a way to make the people use their reasoning power instead of simply accepting what others said. His regular habit was only to question everybody and everything. His quality of rationality was not liked by those who were in power. They were in the opinion that he was spoiling the young citizens. They asked him to mend his ways. But when he refused to do it, he was put in the prison. He was forcibly made to drink a cup of poison, which resulted in his death at the age of 70. He fought for truth and finally died for it. He considered truth to be more powerful. He was very courageous to stand for his ideas and die for them. People remember him for his courage, willpower, the series of questioning to find out the truth, which was known as dialectical method or the Socratic method. Plato, the great thinker, was the student of Socrates. He followed him and preached the teachings of Socrates. Emperor Ashoka. Ashoka was the greatest Mauryan emperor of our country. He was the only king who did not fight after watching the bloody Kalinga War. The destruction and chaos caused in the Kalinga War moved Ashoka and changed him. It was his first and last war. He gave up wars even in future. He was an ardent lover of peace with which he won the hearts of his people. He was tolerant towards all the other religions. He said that those who disrespected other religions would be disrespecting their own religion. He was very well interested in taking care of the people and served them. His main concern was the welfare of the people by providing them all the major comforts like roads, buildings, gardens, and hospitals. As an ardent Buddhist, he preached about the noble values like love, service, and tolerance. His greatness lies in the Dharma Chakra, which was incorporated in our national flag and national emblem. He died long ago, but his ideals remain lingering in the minds of every human being. As a reverence to all his greatness, our government adopted the Sarnath lion capital as our national emblem. Abraham Lincoln, 1809 to 1865. Abraham Lincoln was one of the greatest presidents of the USA. His abolition of slavery in America made him to be immortal. He mainly believed that all the people are equal, and as the President of the USA, he achieved success in establishing the principle of equality of all. Lincoln was born in 1809 in a province of Kentucky in the United States. His father was a poor farmer. As he had to help his father in farming, he could not go to school, but later learned everything from his mother. He learned to read and write. After trying his hand in many occupations, he finally became a successful lawyer. He argued on behalf of the poor without expecting any consideration from them. He became the President of the USA in 1861. During that time, in the southern states of the USA, the blacks were employed as slaves to work in large farms owned by the whites, and the slaves were inhumanly treated. At this juncture, there was the need of abolishing the slavery. As the landlords in the southern states needed slaves to work on their farms, they were against the abolition of slavery. But people in the north were against slavery and wanted its abolition. As a result of it, there was a war between the northern states and the southern states. The landlords belonged to the southern states, and Lincoln and his men belonged to the northern states. The war that arose was called the Civil War. Lincoln successfully led his northern states that a country cannot be half slave and half free. Finally, Lincoln and his team won the war, thereby leading to the abolition of slavery. Lincoln's success in the war preserved the unity of the USA. He is remembered even today by the Americans for his establishment of the principle of equality of all. He is also remembered for defining the democracy as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. He was killed in 1865 by Wilkes Booth, a half-mad Southern, while watching a play. Karl Marx, 1818 to 1883. Karl Marx was also a great thinker. He was the father of communism. He was born in Germany to Jewish parents. The capitalists were criticized by him as they did not give proper wages to the laborers in spite of making huge profits. He made the workers understand the injustice done to them. He was the one who said, "Workers of the world, unite! You have nothing to lose but your chains." He declared that the means of production, like land and capital, should be owned by the society and not by individual alone. He was the writer of Das Kapital. He wrote Communist Manifesto along with his friend Friedrich Engels. He was not liked by the capitalists and rulers of Germany for his ideas, so he was made to flee to England, where he died in 1883. His preachings were a great source of inspiration to the leaders of Russian Revolution of 1917. Lenin and some other communist leaders were the followers of Marx. His philosophy of communism gave a hope to the poor of the world. If a country is aiming to establish a socialistic society, the full credit goes to Karl Marx, the champion of communism. Mahatma Gandhi, 1869 to 1948. Mahatma Gandhi was one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century. It was under his leadership that we won our independence. He advocated the principles of satyagraha and non-violence against the British government in India to free our country. We were able to win our independence without waging a war because of the non-violence movements organized by him. Mohandas Karamchand, Mahatma Gandhi from the imperial rule. Gandhiji said, "We means after we had become independent, many Asian and new and peaceful way because of the non-violence movements organized by him. He showed the world a new and peaceful way of fighting against imperialism, oppression, and injustice. After we had become independent, many Asian and African countries followed the Gandhian way to free themselves from the imperial rule." Gandhiji said, "We cannot do any good thing through bad means." For him, means are as important as the goal. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, as he was originally called, was born on October 2, 1869 at Porbandar in Gujarat. After becoming a lawyer, he went to South Africa, where he stayed for nearly 20 years. There, he took up the cause of the Indians who had settled in South Africa. He organized them to fight against the inequality, injustice, and oppression to which they were subjected. It was in South Africa that he first used the method of satyagraha to fight against white government. After returning to India, he led the people of the country in their fight against British imperialism. He organized many constructive activities also. He worked for the uplift of the depressed classes, or Harijans as he called them. He advocated prohibition and worked for Hindu-Muslim unity. He worked for the upliftment of women also. For all these activities, he was reverentially called Mahatma by the people. He was killed by a fanatic on 30th January 1948. For his contribution to our freedom struggle, he was truly called the father of the nation. Even though he died, the path he showed us still illuminates and it remains there forever. So long as the humanity lives, the Mahatma also lives. Nelson Mandela, 1918 to 2013. He was another popular leader who fought against apartheid in Africa in the Gandhian way and was in jail for many years. Just because of his great struggle, changes have come among the whites in Africa, especially in South Africa. On 5th December 2013, he was passed away. Martin Luther King, 1929 to 1968. Martin Luther King was a black belonging to America. He fought for the cause of equality, especially the black discrimination. According to the American law, both blacks and whites had equal rights, but in practice it was not implemented. The blacks were deprived of seats in buses, parks, schools, and at various other places. Martin Luther King started a movement to fight against this inequality and injustice towards the blacks. He believed in Gandhiji and followed his methods to achieve his goals. Due to his effort, the black discrimination ended up in America. Like Lincoln, he was also shot by a man in 1968 who was against his policies. Martin Luther King was well remembered for his valuable service. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, 1891 to 1956. For centuries, a section of our society suffered humiliation and injustice in the name of caste. But Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was born in this community, was a highly qualified intellectual. He changed the fate of the downtrodden people. He contributed very much as the president of drafting committee in preparing the Constitution of India. He fought for the cause of downtrodden people in the name of lower castes and for raising their prestige in the society. Many such great personalities sacrificed their valuable lives for the noble causes of the people of the world. Let us respect them and follow their ideals by putting them into practice. Let's revise the important points. 1. Socrates was a great thinker and a preacher. His method of asking questions to find out truth was called the dialectical method. 2. Ashoka was a great ruler. He was the only king who gave up wars after seeing the bloody Kalinga War. 3. Abraham Lincoln, the great American president, was immortal for his abolishment of slavery. 4. Karl Marx was the champion of communism. 5. Under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, we won our independence. 6. Nelson Mandela fought against apartheid in South Africa. 7. Martin Luther King worked hard and fought against the discrimination of blacks. 8. B.R. Ambedkar changed the fate of the downtrodden people.